And so I guess that today's video is going to be more of a like think piece or vlog rather than really information style. People say that they like hearing what I think and that I actually just got off the heels of watching Mr. Happy's video where he talks about his experience and thoughts on like the Relic grind for this expansion, and I honestly laughed my ass off at some parts to the point where it's like you got my full laugh. And ask name it, heaven help everyone when I start streaming and I can't clip out my laugh. It's loud. But then Mr. Happy spoke about one topic. I mean, he obviously talked about a lot, which was why I laughed so much, especially at the end. My God, talking about like the past Relic Grants. Goodness, lived through that. It was crazy. But Mr. Happy spoke about Delubrum Reginae and the run length that he was getting around, and was saying something like 25 minutes to like even half an hour on average. And I was like, oh my god, what? That's so long. And then my brain went to, why don't you just go into Party Finder Essence runs where, to be quite frank, a lot of the runs go 15 to 18-ish minutes. I've had many runs around that mark. Actually, I'd consider 20 minutes slow right now, actually. But that leads me to like why I'm doing this vlog. I'm torn. I don't have any answers for you. If you're coming to this looking like, oh my god, is he gonna give sagely wisdom? Yeah, me in my 20s is totally gonna give you sagely wisdom. Not likely. But so that's why it's kind of more of a vlog. But I'm down to literally, though, my last 20 or so runs of Delubrum Reginae, and then I'm gonna have literally every single relic weapon done, which is super exciting to me. It's something that I always go and want to do, and yeah, now I've just about done that. But I do want to say, like, that's not a bragging point. Many people have gotten the weapons weeks ago, actually. In terms of speed, actually, there's a large margin of difference. I've had to actually really slow down and shift my attention onto testing my website extensively. I'm really hoping that I can, like, start, like, getting at least some parts of it. Maybe not the whole thing, because there's so many different moving parts, but at least some little bits of it showing to you guys. There's videos to go with it, and I'm honestly so excited to finally unveil what I've been working on. But point is, I've been getting like one DR run a day lately. It's not been able to be something I can focus on. But I'm kind of letting my drift here, or letting myself drift here. My point is that I'm using Party Finder exclusively. It's not almost exclusively. It's not pretty much exclusively. It's like exclusively for obtaining Timeworn artifacts at this point. And I've ran the numbers on Palace of the Dead, and it really cannot keep up with even 20-minute runs, which, as I said before, is like on the longer end. Realistically, you can get like a comfortable 17-18 minute run with a leader willing to enforce actions and essences usage, like you need to make sure there's 2 lost friends in the party, 1 dervish per party, a banish, 1 lost flare star. Although, to be honest, lately I've been really wondering the merit. If you aren't comfortable with black mage, how much are you actually getting from lost flare star? I think that this is question for a different video. But what's essentially happened is I've actively avoided anything suboptimal in this case. I've actively engaged and contributed really to an optimization machine. And while I can give myself excuses like, oh, I need to grind out 255 Timeworn artifacts and have finished like 235 or so of those, which honestly, when we're talking about a scale of like 255, a tiny few minutes of optimization can shave off literally hours from that, because an hour 60 minutes, so like even if you're only shaving 1 minute off of all those, you are still literally saving hours of time, and it's much more than a minute, as everyone knows, comparing DF to the 50-minute PF runs. And I just want to say, like, it feels kind of bad to me after watching that Mr. Happy video. I feel really guilty. I'm gonna be blunt. I feel really, really guilty, actually. And I see people often forget that I'm pretty new to content creation. I'm really green to this. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't really have like mentors. I mean, like there's people that have definitely reached out. Like Desperius has been nothing but kind and gracious, but it's like, how to say it, it's like getting into this, I didn't have like a book given to me. I didn't have like someone tell me you're gonna do your content XYZ related. Like, it's just like, or when I was originally like talking about it, which was actually after my non-consensual SA, I was going to therapy, and they were just like, you should do this. And I was thinking, oh, okay, I'm gonna bring up like neuroscience, I'm gonna bring up my robotics, I'm gonna bring up like skincare, because I've had like really bad acne, and one of the reasons why I was kind of hesitant to start streaming was I was also on Accutane, and I'm still on it, low dose, thank God, which has been life changing. But it's just like there was never really a plan. It was like, oh, well, they said that I can do this, and then it just kind of became my goal to like give it back. And it's like doing it for a little over a year now, and well, like it was well into the Shadowbringers expansion when I was like, okay, I'm actually going to do a video. When I made this channel, I really promised to myself above anything and everything that I'd do my best to really give back to the community. And rest assured, because this is something that I actually see a disturbing amount like on various Discord servers, and even like in my comments sometimes, is like people saying I'm only doing things for the views or the money. Oh my god, guys, like I don't know how else to really do it. I think it's actually like something that I can't do is to like show you my analytics. Like I know, because so many other YouTubers like actively like say, but like I don't think that like I'm allowed to even do that. But it's like I can tell you I'm making enough to cover my sub fee, and then a little bit more, not much more than that. It's like I've had people accuse me actively, especially with my WoW videos, for being all about views and clicks. Well, to be honest, how to say it, there was a disclaimer in my one video because there was a lot of editing work done, and then people requested, humbly at first, to remove footage, which then proceeded to turn into them levying really unkind, really uncomfortable consequences after I had already agreed, which was super severely off-putting. So I basically lost all my WoW footage that I had for a large part. Like, there's still obviously some parts, but it was really bad. Like, honestly, guys, it's like sometimes I really wonder, like, some of the people that I'm friends with, like, if they're actually friends, but that we're not going down that rabbit hole here. But the point is, I really subscribed to and re-downloaded World of Warcraft, which, as you know, is a pretty big download. That takes me hours. Like, I'm not on the fastest internet connection, and so that took me hours. Like, my user interface is completely botched. Everything's to garbage in that video, and I did this, though, explicitly so that I could make a video and showcase in the video myself talking about things. Because one thing that I really hate is, like, when the content is completely ripped away from what you're talking about. It's just like, can you edit every single frame to match every single thing? I mean, yeah, maybe if you hire an editor, but as I said, like, before, like, this is not, like, some content creation machine. Like, I'm not, like, a Bellular or something like that, where Bellular can literally have, like, a team of people around him. Like, people comparing me saying, oh my god, you're making money and you're just doing this for the views. Like, oh my god, no. Like, I don't, like, you could have, my point is, like, you could have someone, like, pair up the footage to what you're saying one-to-one if you had, like, an editor whose full-time job was that. But it's like, for me, it's just like, I'm mostly focused, even more than like videos, to like website creation, and then filling that with really high quality content, having it peer reviewed by some of the biggest raiders in our community, and really trying to make something. And so I don't really have the time to do that, which really sucks to say, but yeah. But my point is, like, I resubscribed and re-downloaded World of Warcraft, and I did that explicitly so that I could really make a video talking about things that I like in World of Warcraft and things that I can compliment. And I want people to, like, compare the views. I'm not even going to bother screenshotting it in this video, but compare the views between my video of, like, what WoW does great and why I quit WoW, and, like, just compare the views. It's just, like, right now, I'm at, like, 753 views on, like, what WoW does great. And it's like a WoW subscription right now, because I'm Canadian, is like 18-ish Canadian dollars for like 1 month. It's somewhere around that. And I really question the people, like, do you honestly think that I made more than a microscopic fraction back from that? And yet I'm actively berated on various Discord servers I lurk in, or even in the rare time on here or on other platforms. And it's just like, it sucks because sometimes people like actively will message me and be like, "Oh, did you see so and so said this about you?" And it makes me actually feel like I'm going to actually puke, because it's like I'm like, dang, dude, like that wasn't what I was trying to do at all, and it's just like, dang. It really sucks because it's like at the end of the day I'm literally like one person trying to throw this together, and it's just like I'm able to like feature my boyfriend on this channel, but in reality he's got his own job that he's doing and his own stuff, and it's just like he can't be worried about me and my little projects that in comparison to what he's literally doing, which is like real world big boy science, like it's like I'm nothing compared to him. Let's just be frank, I'm nothing compared to him. So no, I like it's literally a one man show, and so when I get that, it's like ow, 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 ow. But like more so to the World of Warcraft video is it's like I kind of actually really knew from the get-go that this video would fail, because people have actively wanted to hear me ragging on it. They want to hear me ripping it down. So I knew it would fail, but my principles really demanded that I balance the positive with the negative. And so I honestly lost a lot of money into that. Like, if we're talking about money, that was a complete loss. I'm not even close to a equal ROI, or return on investment, or whatever. Like, bleh. I mean, people... Actually, let's cover this base, because I know that people might bring this up. It's like, oh my god, but you heard 9.1. This video was launched before we heard about 9.1. Baby, don't get it twisted. We heard about like 9.1's release date literally like yesterday, and this wow, what did it do great was like 2-3 days ago or something. Like, how could I have known? I don't have like the ability to like pull out tarot cards and be like, haha, I determined from the stars 9.1's gonna come out at this exact time that I try and like, I wouldn't have known. And plus, being quite honest, I've already had to uninstall World of Warcraft again, just because I ran out of hard drive space for like other projects that are going on. Like, I'm not on a big fancy computer. Shocking to, I guess, no one, now that I've said I don't really make money. It's like, I don't know, I wish, like, if I could buy a brand new fancy PC with like the glitz and the glam and this and that, and apparently like streamers have like 2 different PCs in one PC, like, that's not me. If you're coming here for that, like if you're coming for like a Jeffree Star, a James Charles, baby, why are you here on this channel? this is not the channel for that. If you want to see people with bling, but my point is, like, 9.1 speculation. Was I subbing for 9.1? Obviously I couldn't have known, but another thing that I want to say is, like, I just don't have the time. Like, as I've said, and I cannot reiterate it enough, my focus is currently purely to a website, which I'm praying I can get out by like mid-July. I am trying so hard, because one thing is also like the crippling anxiety I have of, it's like, okay, I ship this website, okay, people go and see it. What if it doesn't meet expectations? And then people might interpret it as it's not an ongoing project, like it's a one and done. But it's like, for me, like, this is literally going to be like my baby. Like, I am literally going to coddle this website. I am literally going to make it like my top priority, to constantly have updates, constantly make new stuff, constantly revamp things like CSS, which is like how you make a website really look pretty. Like, basic HTML is hideous, and then CSS really makes it look pretty. That is probably my weakest, because I in the past never really was able to do front end, like, make it pretty work. It's like I have tons and tons and tons of experience on back end, TypeScript, and like kind of like the setup of the data. Like, it's just like React with Redux is my shit. Like, I love that so much. That is absolutely my thing. But it's just like I never really made things pretty. I did basically everything else, especially when we're talking about high-end algorithms and like implementing like a machine learning algorithm, the data pipe, cleaning the data, making sure that the data is all managed properly, no SQL, blah blah blah. Like, I've done all that, but making things pretty. So it's just like one of my biggest fears when I launch it is people literally looking at it, taking one look, being like, oh, this is ugly, and never clicking on it again. And it's just like, this is going to be my baby. I'm going to literally be investing like so much love and care into this, because it's like, it means more than just a website. That's what I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, actually, but I'm going on a tangent. But it's just like, No, it's not for 9.1, trust me. It was literally just, I felt, for my principles, I had to make a fair video, because it's just like, I'm a strong believer that when you give criticism or critique, it's very important to balance that out with like praising the positives. It's just like, this is, I don't know, like standard. Like, it's just like how I'd want to like be treated. It's just like, okay, like give me the criticisms, but also let me know what's good so that I can maybe like focus on that, maybe improve it, maybe like push it. But it's more principles, because of course no one's gonna view the videos. It's just like, people are like, oh my god, do you think Asmongold's gonna view your videos? Asmongold's never going to view my videos. That's another comment I get. It's just like, oh my god, you're making this so Asmongold views your videos. Okay, listen, I am not delusional. He is never going to see my videos. He's not gonna see a single damn video of mine, not a single one. Like, he's more concerned with like the biggest creators, and it's just like, he's never going to see a video of mine. He's not, like, flat out. And I'd actually propose it as a challenge. You think that he's going to watch my video? Okay, like, if he does, I'll make a video, like, I don't know, like, doing something stupid. I don't know, like, smashing a cake, going Loktar Rogar, or whatever the orcs say. Like, I don't know, dudes. He's not going to do it. So it's just like, why people say that I'm doing that for him to watch it? It's like, he's on a completely different level, and it's just like, I'm like nothing, so no, he's never gonna view it, so don't come at me with that. I am under no delusion he'll ever go here. But my gosh, I'm going on a tangent, and I guess people say like they want me to be open in that and not be like fake, and so I guess that's kind of where my brain went, and so I guess enjoy. But let's talk about my values, because that's, I guess, the fundamental underpinning of why I did this. Is it's like, I'm gonna actually read it from my extremely Canadian and extremely cringe Twitter. Focused on growth, learning, and uplifting the entire community. Very Canadian. Trust me, you haven't heard the flurry of apologies I give. I am at the point where I literally have apologized for apologizing, and I'm not even joking. But these things, I really try and do it, and when I say it, I mean it very sincerely, and I've not been really shy about it. When I started this channel, I really started it after the community uplifted me, and in fact, my mount video that I did yesterday, I talked about the meaning of the Amaro mount to me, and I'm not going to recap it because I literally just said it in yesterday's video, but unfortunately, when I think about this kind of topic and like regrets and stuff, and like me not adhering to this, it's like my brain instantly goes back to that, and it really makes me think back and question my principles and roots and my core values. And above anything and everything else, like, these are the pillars that I want to use to guide myself making content. It's not the money. It's never been about the money. I mean, honestly, like, I volunteered, like, flat out, like, I'm gonna leave out as many details as possible, but I volunteered at hospitals where I literally saw some of the most rich of the rich people die in front of me, and I'm not money oriented anymore. I want to make a difference, and I don't want to like die like the way that I saw people die, and it's just like, I want to really make a difference, and I want to be more than money. And oh god, so it's just always crazy to me, because it's like, some people think like I'm like a Tresha Paytas or like James Charles amounts of money, and it's like not even in the same dimension. But getting more to the point is, it's like, when I heard Mr. Happy talk about like his DR runs, I felt like an abject failure, honestly, and I still feel it, hence me making what I guess one would call a vlog. Unfortunately, I don't really have a treehouse to record this in, or a camera. I mean, I have a camera, but it's not set up, trust me, it's a mess. But I do want to say, like, I don't have the answers to this, and I try and make videos to like spread information to the community, and like, what do essences do, and what to try and combine together to really like do well. I even showed, honestly, my brutally pathetic Dalriada run, like my first run, where I did horribly, but then like my own actions in game really betray my values on like what I actually do. It's like, I wonder about things like, people say like, rules for thee but not for me, or do as I say not as I do. And I'm kind of torn, because if I don't know if that's true, because facts are I've actively said in videos flat out in the Relic grind where I've done grind guides, which I'd 100% continue to support, is Party Finder, Delubrum, Reginae groups are good, and I stand by that 100%. And it's mathematically the best that I could come across. I went into Palace of the Dead again, actually, after that video, just to make sure that I wasn't misleading, just because I had, like, that spark of, like, curiosity, like, was I being potentially misleading? Was I maybe not enough data? It's just, like, I like working with big data sets, because then you can be more confident that, like, statistical anomalies will eventually be, like, ironed out. But it's like one of the runs, like literally my last Pass of the Dead run before I completely shelved it, was our team wiped because our Ast really truly went AFK like mid pull. Like their weapon wasn't even out on like floor 185 or something to like slug things, like the like slug monsters. And we had like two on our tank. The tank just got whacked. The Ast didn't even have their weapon out. And then it was like 5 or 6 hours of grind just to get knocked on. It really sucked. And 5 or 6 hours honestly was a fair bit slower. I also was trying like to go on DPS. It's slower because usually on White Mage I'm extremely aggressive in pulling and AoEing mobs down, especially from like 51 all the way to like, you can get away really kind of to like 110-ish. Really, the only problem is like when you hit gargoyles with the bleed, that's when you can't have like the tank mass pull at that point. But I'm going on a tangent. But when push comes to shove, I actively avoid groups where people aren't expected to use essences, which is an upfront expectation that they state at the start of the party finder. And I don't really want to be in normal groups anymore. Like, I've been with so many duty finder DR groups where people literally are dying and go AFK, and I can't really deal with that anymore. It's like, take my ranged DPS build for example. Ideally, I go in with like Font of Power and Lost Dervish alongside Fiend Hunter. The real hard one to get is Fiend Hunter in my experience. Maybe it's because of RNG, but oh my god, this is annoying to get the pure essences. Because for whatever reason, I open mostly Dervish, which is kind of comical because I have probably thrown literally, I'm not joking, literally hundreds of Dervish charges out just from swapping classes because I try and fill what the party needs, and I still probably have like 100 dervishes or so in my inventory. Let's take the current state of pricing, which even right now is about like 20k a pop on Gilgamesh for the finesse, the fragments. Then if let's assume I get a Fiend Hunter and a Dervish off of that, so two of those is going to be 40k Gilf, 20 plus 20. Then a Lost Fragment of Sagacity. Sorry about the pronunciation, but Sagacity is shockingly low, and I don't know what happened on the market board, but last time I checked, which was a few minutes before I started this, it was like 3k a pop on Gilgamesh. But you're supposed to have like a 1 in 3 chance of getting Lost Font of Power action, though I'd honestly say for me personally, because my RNG is dirt, and RNG gonna RNG, I'd say that it takes more than 3, but let's say it's 1 in 3, so 3. So it's going to be 9k gil to get a Lost Font of Power. So each run, just adding up those numbers, is going to be 20, and the 9 is going to be 49k gil for me. So I'm actively investing into making the run better and smoother for everyone, and each run is costing me that much, like each and every single one, because you can't reuse the essences. You're gonna blow through almost all 15 dervishes by the time it's done. Lost Font, same thing, it only has like 10 charges. Honestly, with how how expensive fragments were a few weeks ago, honestly it was much more expensive than even that. Let alone, what would we do if I, like, let's propose that we have 2 ranged DPS already in the group. That wouldn't make sense for me to be a third one, so then let's say I'd swap to melee DPS if we needed Lost Rend, Red Mage if we needed Spirit of the Elder, for that Lost Bravery interaction with Cure 4, or White Mage DPS Cannon, which really is swinging on what the group needs. And so I'm actively really discarding the unused charges sometimes between runs, and so it definitely has added up to millions of gil at this point, easily, millions upon millions. So when I say it really upsets me when I go into DR normal and I see people literally AFKing, literally being dragged into the fight, teleported, and dying, and then releasing, I don't think that's unfair. Guys, I don't think that's unfair. Or just the fact that, yeah, a lot of runs I did using Duty Finder originally did actually go over an hour. It was rare. It was rare. Let me say here, it didn't always go over an hour. It was the exception, not the rule. But when it did, I actively felt miserable. Oftentimes, I was like on Dance or dancing with someone who was doing 1/3 of my DPS with my dancer buffs, and I felt miserable. Honestly, it really was a morale killer. Like I'd just like kind of like log off after that. I'm like, I can't do this right now. Which, if you kind of think about it, in an ideal scenario of like 15-minute runs, which are, again, more, those are like the exception, not the rule. It's like 17, 18, I think, are a fair expectation these days. But if you get like 15-minute runs, you could fit 4 of those in a single hour clear. That's almost a full third of a single weapon done in that same time frame. So, kind of ultimately closing off this video, I don't really know what to think or feel on this topic. I said from the get-go, this is kind of just a direct vlog, and I'm kind of putting my thoughts out there for better or worse, but this is something that's kind of like actively bugging me right now. On one hand, I can justify it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I need 255 Timeworn artifacts, and I'm now down to like my last 20 for every single weapon. Like, of course I want to optimize this. Like, that's an insane number. On the other hand, I'm like, am I actively pulling down the community and betraying my core values and tenets? And I don't know if it's just like some defense mechanism for me to say, oh, but you made videos explaining your approach. You have made videos on the fragments and how people could do that. You're innocent in all this. While at the same time being like, I want to join other party finder groups where the leader will actively ensure that everyone in the party is using essences and actions and contributing. Which, likewise, as I keep saying, is a set of expectations in the party finder before you even click on it. Like, you can see actively, use essences and actions. You can't claim to not know. Like, you actively must join the party and, like, intentionally have not read it. It's in the description of, like, basically every party. So I'm just kind of really torn right now, and I honestly should probably get my stream setup done. I have honestly all these boxes like piled outside my door of my room for like literally weeks now, but it's just like right now today it's like my mind is fully dwelling on this right now, and I do feel guilty. So yeah. Actually, how does one even like end a vlog, guys? I'm really so green to this. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna end it by saying I really sincerely hope everyone's having a beautiful day, and your support and kindness means the world to me. And it really, actually freaking does. It really makes a huge difference. It's like, this is why I get up. Like, flat out these days, you know what? I've taken such a kick to the teeth lately. It really means so much more than I can say. So, yeah, I really hope that you have a beautiful day, whichever day you're on if you watch this. But if you are watching this on the fine Friday that this is posted, I hope your Friday is beautiful and it leads you into a beautiful, wonderful weekend.